Ugh. Something's missing. Something's missing, and it's been missing for so long that any trace of underwater, I seek it out. So I travel to the nearest waterfall, dive into the deepest pool of water I can find, and memories start to flow in of a time when underwater wasn't just a place to get resources so that you can get your points, you know, for your village. It was also a scary, mysterious place where not just water and treasure were lurking underneath. Monster Hunter 3. Monster Hunter 3 U, to be specific, is one of my nearest and dearest titles. There it has one of my favorite monsters of all time, which is also horrifying as it comes from the deep. And I say that as somebody who fears the deep. This was the first title to implement underwater battles, and sadly the last. Not sure why Capcom made that decision, but couldn't possibly be because a bunch of babies don't like water. It's not everyone's cup of tea, so this was the first and the last time that there was underwater battles, which is really a fucking shame. It's really a shame because underwater battles are awesome. They're so difficult, and they force your brain to have to adapt to an environment that you are not familiar with. You got to figure out how your weapon works underwater, how long the swings take. It's a little bit different. Your dodges work differently. Absolutely everything. And personally, I found the challenge super satisfying. If you're not a baby, if you're not a little baby and cry about it, you know, it's actually pretty fun. I mean, just look at how I'm beating the shit out of this Lagacrus with my coffin hunting horn. I'm buffing myself, I'm bashing in the fucking face, and I'm singing and dancing. Like, come on. And just listen to that. Listen to that coffin. Okay, well now I'm just going off of my weapon, but once Laggy gets to land is where a lot of people like the fight. And it's just like, look, he goes in and out, you know? He needs to get some air, you know? Goes back into the water. Basically what I'm saying is, my hope, my genuine hope for Monster Hunter Wilds is to bring back underwater combat. Please, 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 and thank you. Because, like I stated earlier, not only does it challenge you as a hunter, you have to adapt to a new environment that you're alien to. In my opinion, that's a sign of a true hunter. You know, it's not just chasing down the animal and shit, you don't even have to paintball that bitch no more. Oh god! Everything's kind of done for you. And I'm not gonna sit here and complain about the difficulty of Wilds because, come on, not everything's out yet. That's not... No. That's not what we're doing here. I just think that a lot of people's complaints about underwater combat in the past, well, some of it's valid. You should also just get good. No, but seriously, get good. Hey! I did it! We've come a long way. Monster Hunter has come such a long way in adding so many techniques, from wire bugs to clutch claw, oh boy, love it or hate it, you know, to our new wound system. This thing's getting beat up. Oh, just see that? Clashing, all of that amazing, 100%. So we have the technology to make underwater battles a bit more accessible and not as clunky. So that's really what I'm getting at here. And forgive me if I'm just kind of going off on a tangent. I don't do these things with the script. I just kind of talk off the riff what's going in my brain, and usually what people in chat are yelling at me as to why. Well, the camera sucked in Underwater, blah, blah, blah. Well, so did Mario 64. Mario 64's camera was fucking dog shit. Caca poopa doo doo. Oh yeah, these camera angles be crazy. You know, it's one of the most speedrun games because part of the difficulty of learning that and having the skill to do that is figuring out how to fucking tweak the camera for it to work perfectly with you. And that's the same thing, in my opinion, when you're doing an underwater battle. You know, you gotta work with what you got. You know, camera's a little bit too close. Okay, well, move a little bit. You know, move yourself and get yourself into the proper position where you can get that one good hit. Underwater battles also give high reward for high risk kind of thing, right? They reward you with your patience. You got patience enough to wait for the monster to be in the right place, do the right dodge, and bam, break its fucking head. You're beating that dude in his own turf. It's like beating, you know, it's like going to a hockey game and your team beats the home team. Everyone's leaving. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh my. Very satisfying. I do recommend it. Oh. Now look, I want to show you a little something, right? Obviously, I love fishing just like everyone else. Fishing is the end game, right? But I do still find myself looking at the water and seeing like how perfect would it just be if I could dive in there and look for a monster. We know that Uthduna hangs out around here, you know? It's the perfect place. Look at this. This look where you could have a perfect laggy fight, plessy fight, new dragon water creature, king of the seas, what have you, you know? This is all the perfect setup. And God, I just really hope that it's a possibility, you know? So yeah, I do silly things like this just to be like, maybe I can get a nice glance underwater. However, I did find something else. And I shit my pants. One, because even though I love underwater battles, they scare the shit out of me, dude. I hate the water. Dark water's scary. But check this out. Fighting with Duna here, I decided to see if I could follow her. Because I can still hear the water splashing. Jump in here, take a nice little bloosh, you know, where I normally do my, hey, let's pretend like underwater battles could be a thing. And oh my God! Look at her. She's right up there in the water with me at the same time. I'm such a fan. So I get my happy ass up, jump back in to see if I saw what I think I saw. I'm not hallucinating. And oh my God, the majestic big beauty. Look how fluid everything is. Like, this is a possibility in my mind. Like, this is possible. Like, that big monster right there could just turn around, spot me, and fuck me up. Break all that shit, or break those ancient ruins, and just kill me. And I'm okay with that. And I want that. Watching this fight every time just makes me so hopeful. But, you know, you're not always gonna get what you want. You know, I'm just thinking it would be cool, and it's my hope. Like, it could even be an arena quest. I'm not saying that have a whole story revolve around it, although that would be sick. Like, just give me arena quests. I'll even take that at this point, you know? It could just be certain, like, events where you can do that, you know? Even in the original Monster Hunter 3, you can say try or 3U, whichever. It only accounted for, like, a very small amount of the fights. Like, most people who complain about the underwater battles are like, oh, it's so fucking annoying. It's just like everywhere. It's like, no, there was only a few. There was only a few underwater battles, and they were awesome. And I treasure them to this day, and they're still a bitch when I go back. Gobu is still as ugly as ever. You know what? I want that. Gobu looks like he's Uthduna's ugly cousin, you know? Look at this. The similarities are uncanny. It's possible. And this dude was just in like some shallow, like little river area, you know? Now we have a big, deep, almost ocean-like area. So have I won any of you over? Have you come over to the underwater side? Well, if I haven't, would you at least listen to the director for Monster Hunter Worlds and Wilds, Yuya Tokuda? In an interview for Worlds, he states that the Wildspire Waste was designed to give a sense of openness and a hunt within a vast area. Tokuda wanted to add underwater combat for Wildspire Waste, but it would have taken too long, too much effort to add new underwater monsters, and the game would not meet the deadline release. So, I mean, good news. Wilds is releasing content via title updates. So that can give them a good amount of time to set things up if they need to, or surprise us with any underwater combat that they have planned. Whether it's not fully submerged deep water fighting, you know, either way, I think it would still be pretty amazing to see a good old laggy or a big bearded ass Cetus. I mean, if the director from World and Wilds wanted to bring back water combat, would you at least listen to his opinion if you're not going to listen to mine as to a good reason to bring it back? It's such a good challenge, and, you know, half joking, half not, you know, when I call you guys all little babies when you don't want to play underwater battles. It's too hard, too clunky. I'm half kidding, you know, but it's also because if you play Monster Hunter, you like the challenge. You have that hunter in you, and I believe in you. I believe in you to conquer underwater combat. So, with that being said, I understand that it's not as accessible these days. They turned off the online to 3DS, the Wii U. I do know there's other ways to get around that, but I don't know how to do that. But if you have it within your reach, I highly suggest you give it a shot. Get in there, jump in there, and smack a monster around in the water and beat him on his own turf. It's extremely satisfying. But at this point, I think I'm at the end of my rant. I just enjoy every Monster Hunter, and adding more difficulty and variety, I think would be perfect. Hold up. There was a Title 1 update that happened while I was editing this video, and we need to go over it. We don't need to go over every point, but there is something in there. There's something in there at the very end that made this video worthwhile. I mean, it's already worthwhile. You know, I'm flustered. Okay, let's take a look.
Also,
it's gonna happen.
I'm happy to announce that we're planning a second title update for Wilds for summer.
Oh shit!
Please look forward to hearing more details about it from us in the future.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for playing Monster Hunter Wilds, and I hope you continue to enjoy the game. Now let's
Shit, I'm
wrap
still
this
playing.
up, as we always do.
Happy hunting! Woohoo! Excellent. Second free title update. Second free title update. Oh my god! Look at, he's beautiful! He's beautiful! Again. Let me see. Oh my god. So this comes at a really hilarious time because I've been working on a video, right, that talks about underwater. And so we are implementing it to this video here. I can't express how excited I am for that. Not only does it bring back laggy, that's clearly laggy. That's a lagacris. My hope for underwater battles has reignited instead of just being like a silly thing I tell myself that's possible. That doesn't mean there's going to be underwater battles, but I'm still just happy to see Lagacris because that gives me hope for other monsters. But yeah, I'm really happy so far, and go Laggy. And if you found any of my points interesting, or you can deal with the sound of my voice, stop by the stream and check it out, and we'll hunt together. But I guess I'll leave it at that. So happy hunting.